Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back, Mafia Roundtable with Dominic Sicali. I'm glad to announce we have our first sponsorship from EG Vodka and Champagne de Rock. Thank you for the sponsorship. Also, everybody go to egvodka.com. Vodka is excellent, best tasting vodka I have ever had. It's 100% organic. Try it, you'll like it. Now, this story today is about the captain's meeting that Vinny had called after Joe Camerano Sr., Tony Urso, which was Tony Green, they all got arrested. What Vinny felt, we didn't know who was out there. It just came out Big Lou had ratted. They wore the wire. Vinny got caught on that tape, but didn't say anything too damaging at that point for Vinny to get arrested. But Tony Urso was on tape. So was Joe Camerano Sr. So with that wave, we lost our entire administration. Not the entire administration, but two important pieces. Joe sent word for Vinny to take the reins of the crime family. Joe also elevated me at that point to an official captain. So Vinny wanted to make sure everybody was in line. Everybody was on the same playbook. So Vinny decided, let me call a captain's meeting, get everybody together in one room, and go over everything, because Vinny wanted to tighten the reins of the group. And we were still concerned there might be more cooperators out there, people working with the government. So Vinny mentioned to me prior, he says, I'm going to call the captain's meeting, and what I'm going to do is everybody's going to have to strip, take off their clothes. And he said, myself included. He said, Bo, we don't know if somebody's wearing a wire. You know, they're just going to have to accept it and understand. This is it. These are the times we're living in right now. With that, and you know, it's insulting in a lot of ways doing that, but I understand why Vinny wanted to do it, because we had Joe Messino's entire group, all his captains, the underboss, everybody cooperated. So at this point, you could understand Vinny's intentions. So we put word out, certain day, I would meet a few of the captains, certain location, bring them to, I had just moved, I was building my new home, so I had just rented a house, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks, so we knew that house was clean. So Vinny said, let's have it there. I said, all right, set up the house. So with that, we pick everybody up. It's Joe Camerano Jr., Jerry Chili, Anthony Rubito, Nicky Santoro, Louis Electric, Jerry Asaro, and myself, Vinny, Michael Knows. Might be 1 or 2 more people that I'm missing, but you got the gist of it. As everybody's walking into the house, I brought in my group. Vinny's at the door, basically standing in his boxer shorts. Says, listen, these measures call for it. After what just happened, the last captain that ratted wore the wire, Big Lou. Vinny says, I have to ensure, and you know I'm not wearing a wire. So guys understood. They stripped down. I took everybody's jewelry, brought it downstairs in the basement of the house. So nobody had cell phones, nobody had pages on them, nobody had jewelry, period. Everybody took their clothes off. Now, I had gotten there before Michael Knows. Michael Knows had no clue what was going on. So when he walked in the door, I'm actually looking at him, and I saw the look on his face like he was in total disbelief. Gave like one of those cocky smirks. He complied with everything, so did everybody else. So Vinny calls the meeting. We're all sitting down. We join hands around the table. This is in Brotherhood of the BONANNO crime family. Our boss, Joe Messino, is away. And Vinny says a few more words. With this unity here is a symbol of our loyalty to the crime family and Joe. We sit down. Vinny starts off, guys, I'm apologizing, but these measures called for what I had to do. And basically everybody somewhat understood. You could see the looks on their faces. So Vinny was adamant there's probably more people out there cooperating with the family, and he's going to try to protect all of us because, we got crippled right now, lost everybody. So as we're sitting there, Vinny's going over rules. Vinny first and foremost tells everybody, guys, I'm letting you know now. Joe, I want everybody to, inquire, because everybody has means to our boss one way or another, especially everybody's a captain at the table. Reach out, find out, what Joe did. And if you question any of my decisions, Joe is our boss. At the end of the day, and then Vinny went into, I elevated Michael to our acting underboss, Anthony Rubito to our consigliere. I gave Nicky Santoro, I elevated him to official captain. But if you want to confirm it with Joe. And if Joe sends word back that I have to knock one of the guys down that I put up, then so be it. That's Joe's our boss. We follow our boss. Joe's our leader. And Vinny meant that. Vinny loved Joe tremendously and would die for Joe. And Vinny is dying for Joe, actually, in jail. Joe wore the wire on him, set him up to get arrested. So Vinny goes through everything, tells everybody's shaking their heads. And then he said, guys, everybody in your crews, they are not to reach out to any other members in this crime family. You are to let all your members know. If any of the soldiers need to speak to a soldier in a different crew, they have to ask permission. This way, every captain's aware of what their soldiers are doing. Because if one of the soldiers are cooperating and they do it behind your back and we find out about it, then something's fishy. Something doesn't make sense. We're going to filter out. We're going to see who doesn't listen, who's trying to get information, who's violating what I'm putting in place, these orders. So everybody shook their head. They agree. Then Vinny went ahead and talked about Gino, who was in my crew. I was calling him Gillespie, Gino Gillestro. I'm pretty sure that's his last name. I really didn't care. He's from Long Island. I didn't like him to begin with, but that's neither here nor there. He was a soldier in my crew. So Vinny brings him up, because by this time, I already fucked Gino up. I beat the shit out of him in the bathroom for being defiant, not following the rules. So Vinny asked everybody at the table, please, I want everybody to speak their mind. What do you think? More than half of the guys at the table voiced, Vinny, you're not allowed to put hands on a made member. Basically, what you had Dominic do, Dominic could get killed for that. So Vinny right away, Dominic's not going to get killed for anything. I'm the acting boss here. I gave him an order to do it. So Dominic had no choice. And that's the way Vinny was, very protective of me. We were close, we were tight. I think even if Joe came down with an order to kill me, it wouldn't happen. There would be another coup. If Joe happened to be on the street the way Gotti and Sammy the Bull took out Paulie Castellano, Vinny would look to take Joe Messino out. That's how close we were. So Vinny went into it. He says, okay, well, let me tell you, what would you have did? Shelved him or kill him? Because then my decision would be to kill him. And Vinny then put it to all the guys who griped about it. Well, then, so you know what? Let's kill him, and I'm going to give it to you. Would you do it? Would you do it? Would you do it? All of a sudden, everybody's tune changed. No. Okay, maybe that was a good idea. Because Vinny felt, why am I going to shelf this guy? He's out in Staten Island. We have no control over him whatsoever. He could do what he wants, roam around. He doesn't have to answer to anybody. That's what he wants. He wants to be shelved. You know, he's around Dominic. Dominic's in the Bronx. He's not in Staten Island. So everybody at the end of the day wound up agreeing when Vinny threw it back at them. But the irony of things was Vinny got everybody together. And then Vinny said, I'm trying to get all the bosses of all the families, put them together. He already reached out. First two was Matty Madonna, who was the acting boss of the Lucchese's, and then Arnold Squitieri, who was the boss of the Gambino crime family at that time. And they both came up with excuses, and Vinny turned around and said, look at these fucking guys. They're bosses. They want to sit on their couches and do nothing. And it clearly shows Vinny was right, because now you have New York became, and I hate to say this, rat central, cooperators like myself out there, running the streets of New York, making money, and they're rubbing elbows with made guys out there. Why? Because the bosses are sitting on the couches. Nobody wants to do anything because they're collecting all the money from all their captains, their soldiers. And, you know, the Mafia life has changed. This is not the 20s, 30s, 40s anymore. You know, and to get away with hurting somebody, it's impossible these days, almost impossible. With all cameras, surveillance, videos everywhere. But Vinny got upset with that at that time because Vinny wanted to tighten up everything, bring back a commission. Vinny's very old school, dangerous too, at the same token. But what Vinny did at that time, it was good. It gave us a reason to be out there again for the structure, for the crime family, for Joe Messino. Little did we know that, you know, what Joe had intended in the back of his mind, which everybody knows from my previous podcast, if you heard. Well, if everybody liked this story, please hit the subscribe button. Thank you again. I can't even say it because we're shooting prior, but thank everybody for subscribing. Look forward for more videos. Stay tuned, more coming. Wish everybody has a great day. Much love. Peace. Peace out.